Aligned with Love. How to Attract the Love of Your Life Using the Law of Attraction by Don Ratliff. Copyright 2025. Despite having been in more failed relationships than I'd care to admit, one thing never changed for me. My belief that one day I would meet and marry the love of my life. And I'm glad I didn't give up, because in 2006, everything shifted for me. I started taking part in personal growth workshops and watched a film called The Secret, which was my introduction to the law of attraction. The idea that our thoughts, emotions, and imagination shape our reality felt like a truth my soul had been waiting to hear. The law of attraction can be summed up as what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Those weren't just interesting ideas, they resonated deeply. For the next 16 years, I studied with some of the world's most respected law of attraction teachers: Bob Proctor, John Assaraf, Dr. John Demartini, Lisa Nichols, Dr. Joe Dispenza, and applied what they taught. Little by little, I developed a process that would ultimately lead me to my beautiful wife, Elise, the love of my life. This book is my way of handing that process to you. It isn't a book about getting someone. It's a book about becoming someone, the version of you who knows you are worthy of healthy, steady, soul-deep love, and who can hold that knowing long enough for the universe to respond. You'll learn how your beliefs shape the kind of people you attract, how your words send a signal to the universe about what you're ready for, how clarity and emotional alignment turn you into a magnet for the love of your life. You'll also read true stories, Angela's, Denise's, and my own, that show how clarity, intention, and the law of attraction work in real life. Finding the love you desire isn't a fantasy. It's a journey of self-discovery, growth, and alignment. If you're willing to uncover your limiting beliefs, speak a new truth about yourself, and hold a clear vision of the love you want, this book will guide you every step of the way. Before you start, whisper this to yourself: I am worthy of real love. I am ready to grow, and I am open to receiving the love of my life. If that stirs something inside you, even a little, you are exactly where you need to be. Before you call in the love you desire, there's a question you must answer. One that seems basic, but shapes everything that follows. Are you ready for a real relationship? When asked, most people say yes, but wanting a relationship is not the same as being ready for one. A lot of people want love. Far fewer are prepared for the honesty, vulnerability, and growth genuine love requires. You don't need to be perfect to be ready. You just need to be willing to be honest with yourself. My moment of honesty. My breakthrough happened in the midst of a relationship I knew deep down wasn't for me. During our final argument, the following words erupted from deep within me. They weren't loud, but they were powerful. What I said was, I'm ready for a real relationship. I wasn't trying to win the moment, or change anything, or make a point. It wasn't planned or dramatic. It was simply the truth, finally given a voice. The moment I spoke it, I felt the power behind it, pure and undeniable, and I knew the universe heard it. The moment the door unlocks. It felt like something inside me clicked into place. A door I didn't know existed suddenly unlocked. I didn't know what would happen next, or who was coming into my life, but something in me had changed. That shift didn't instantly transform my outer world, but it absolutely transformed my inner world. And that's where every meaningful change begins. A question only you can answer. So now I'll ask you what I had to ask myself. Are you ready for the kind of love you say you want? Are you willing to let go of old hurt? Be honest about what you need. Allow someone to see the real you. Stop settling for almost right relationships. Believe you're worthy of the love you desire. This isn't about perfection. It's about willingness. A quick self-check. Ask yourself, do I still carry anger, hurt, or disappointment from the past? If my ideal partner showed up tomorrow, would I feel ready? Is there anything I need to release to make room for the right person? No judgment, just awareness. Awareness is the beginning of alignment. Close this chapter with intention. Say this out loud or quietly to yourself. I am ready for a real relationship. Let it be simple. Let it be true. That one moment opened the door for everything that came next in my life. It may do the same for you. Chapter 2. Your picker's not broken. After yet another painful breakup, a friend once told me, "My picker is broken." I'd never heard the phrase before, but I knew exactly what she meant. She felt trapped in a pattern of choosing the wrong person again and again. Maybe you've felt that too. You might have wondered, why do I keep picking the same type of person? Why do I ignore red flags that seem obvious later? Why do I attract the opposite of what I want? If you've asked yourself those questions, here's the truth. Your picker isn't broken. You're not cursed. You're not destined for heartbreak. Your conscious mind may want one thing, but your subconscious beliefs may be pulling you towards something completely different. And until you realize what you're dealing with, your subconscious will usually win. The battle between wanting and believing. Consciously, you might want someone who is loyal, kind, emotionally available, consistent. But deep down, the beliefs you formed long ago may still whisper, "I'm not lovable enough. I always get hurt. Love never works out for me." You don't say these aloud, but they show up in subtle ways. You pull back when someone good shows interest. You lean in when someone inconsistent shows interest. Calm, steady love feels off. Drama feels familiar. Not good, just familiar. That's the subconscious at work. Patterns repeat, not because you're broken. Patterns repeat because old beliefs are still running the show, not because something is wrong with you. Once you update the internal belief system, the destination, your picker automatically recalibrates. You'll notice different kinds of people feel drawn to healthier qualities, see red flags faster. Stop being pulled toward chaos. Choose people who treat you the way you deserve. Your picker changes because you change. A quick exercise to reveal hidden beliefs. Picture this. Your best friend calls and says someone you recently met plans to call you tonight and ask you out. Before you think or analyze, what's your instant gut reaction? Excitement? Hope? Curiosity? Or, why would he want me? I'm not enough. Something will go wrong. That immediate voice? That's your limiting belief, not the truth. And the moment you can hear it, you can change it. Close this chapter with intention. Say this: my picker isn't broken. Something in me is shifting. I deserve healthy, lasting love. I am aligning with the partner I truly want. You're not broken. You're becoming. Chapter 3. Limiting beliefs. What's really getting in the way? If there is one thing that shapes your love life more than anything else, it's your beliefs, especially the ones operating beneath the surface. People blame bad luck, timing, chemistry, or the dating pool. But more often than not, the real block isn't outside you. It's the belief system running inside you. Not the beliefs you say out loud, but the ones that show up in your patterns, fears, doubts, and reactions. These are limiting beliefs, and they influence who you're drawn to, who you overlook, how you show up, what you tolerate, when you stay, when you leave, whether you believe real love is possible for you. They don't announce themselves. They simply steer your life until you uncover them. Where limiting beliefs come from. They come from childhood experiences, past relationships, breakups, moments of rejection, painful comments, inconsistent love, times you felt not enough. These experiences turn into quiet conclusions about yourself. I'm not lovable. People always leave. Love eventually hurts. I'm too much. I'm not enough. They aren't facts, but they run your life as if they are. How limiting beliefs show up. You might notice them here. A good person shows interest, and you suddenly feel unsure. Someone inconsistent shows interest, and you feel a spark. You pull back as things get close. You assume something won't work out. You settle because you don't believe you can have what you want. Your subconscious is trying to protect you, but it needs an update. A simple way to spot a limiting belief. Use the same exercise from the last chapter. Imagine someone you like plans to call and ask you out. What is your instant reaction? Excitement? Or, why me? Don't get your hopes up. He'll lose interest. That reaction is your limiting belief speaking. Not destiny, just old programming. Once you see it, you can change it. Awareness is power. Once you identify a limiting belief, you can replace it with one that actually supports love. Because if your subconscious believes you're unworthy, you will push love away in subtle, self-protective ways when it finally arrives. Close this chapter with intention. Say, I am becoming aware of the beliefs that no longer serve me. I can change what I believe about myself and about love. Healthy love is possible for me. I deserve a relationship that feels good, steady, and real. I am replacing old beliefs with new ones that support the love I want. Your past was shaped by old beliefs. Your future doesn't have to be. You're rewriting your story now, one belief at a time. Chapter 4. Disempowering your limiting beliefs. By now, you're starting to see how powerful your limiting beliefs are, and how quietly they can influence everything in your love life. The good news? You can absolutely change them. And once you do, your entire experience of love will shift with them. Most people think limiting beliefs are permanent. They're not. They're learned. And anything learned can be unlearned. All you really need is awareness, consistency, and a willingness to replace old beliefs with new ones that actually support the kind of relationship you want. Why limiting beliefs are so hard to see. Here's something important that most people never realize. Most of us walk around with zero real awareness of the limiting beliefs running our lives. Not because we're oblivious, because limiting beliefs are almost always invisible from the inside. Sure, we catch glimpses now and then, a sudden moment of self-doubt, an emotional reaction that feels older than the situation, a pattern we keep repeating even though we know better. But glimpses aren't the same as understanding. For Elise, for Denise, for Angela, and for me, awareness didn't happen by chance. It came through the deep inner work we did through PSI seminars. PSI didn't just point out that we had limiting beliefs. It helped us see how those beliefs were shaping our choices, our reactions, and our relationships. It held up a mirror to the stories underneath our surface, the ones we never consciously chose, yet had been living out for years. And once we could see them, we finally had tools to challenge them, to interrupt them, and to replace them with beliefs that actually aligned with the love we were calling in. Awareness is the foundation. Affirmations work best on the beliefs you're already aware of. They can shift the patterns you can consciously recognize, but the deeper ones often stay hidden until something helps bring them to the surface. That's why programs like PSI seminars, Landmark, and other personal growth trainings can be so life-changing. They uncover beliefs you never would have discovered on your own, and they help you do it far faster than years of trial and error. Elise, Denise, Angela, and I all did our work through PSI seminars, and we recommend the experience wholeheartedly. This isn't a paid endorsement, just genuine gratitude for the clarity and tools we gained. Once you bring a belief into the light, even briefly, you reclaim power over it. And once you reclaim that power, everything becomes possible. How limiting beliefs lose their power. Limiting beliefs don't disappear because you fight them. They lose power because you stop feeding them. Think of your limiting beliefs like a fire. If you keep throwing logs on it, fear, self-doubt, old stories, what-ifs, the flames grow. But stop feeding it, and the fire burns itself out. You weaken a limiting belief the same way. Stop agreeing with it. Stop repeating it. Stop reinforcing it. Stop treating it like the truth. And instead, begin introducing something stronger, a new belief. A belief that supports your worth, your value, and the love you're calling in. Why affirmations actually work. Affirmations aren't about pretending. They're about giving your subconscious something new to work with. Right now, your subconscious has years, maybe decades of evidence that supports the limiting beliefs you've been carrying. Affirmations begin to shift that. When you say an affirmation with emotion and repetition, your subconscious starts noticing, oh, we're doing something different now. Over time, the new belief starts competing with the old belief. Then it starts replacing it. And eventually, it becomes the default. But here's the key. You can't just say an affirmation. You have to feel it. You have to put energy behind it. That's what gives it power. A simple example. Let's say your limiting belief is, I'm not worthy of real love. To change that belief, you don't whisper a weak sentence once and hope something happens. You speak the opposite with conviction. I am worthy of real love. Not in a fake way, not in a forced way, but in a way that says, this isn't fully real for me yet, but I'm stepping into it. That's where the shift begins. A sample affirmation you can use. Read this slowly and speak it aloud. I am worthy of love. I attract relationships that are healthy and aligned with who I am. My heart is open, and the right relationship is finding its way to me. Say it with intention. Let it land. This isn't magic. It's alignment. The Cherokee story of the two wolves. There's a Cherokee story that explains limiting beliefs perfectly. A chief tells his grandson, inside every person, a battle is happening between two wolves. One wolf is fear, anger, envy, and doubt. The other is love, courage, hope, and truth. The boy asks, which wolf wins? The chief replies, the one you feed. Every time you repeat or agree with a limiting belief, you're feeding the wrong wolf. Every time you choose a new belief, even if it feels unfamiliar, you're feeding the right one. This isn't about perfection. It's about choice. You choose which wolf grows. You choose which belief becomes stronger. Nothing changes until you choose differently. 20 powerful affirmations to replace limiting beliefs. Say them slowly. Pick the ones that resonate. Rewrite them in your own voice. I am worthy of love and affection. I attract loving and healthy relationships. I am open to receiving love from the right person. My heart is open to giving and receiving love. I deserve a relationship filled with trust and respect. I release past hurts and welcome new love. Love flows to me naturally and easily. I radiate love, and love is drawn to me. I trust the process of life to bring me the perfect partner. I am lovable just as I am. Every day, I am calling in the love I desire. I deserve someone who chooses me fully. I am secure in who I am. I let go of resistance to love. I am surrounded by love in many forms. I am grateful for the love already in my life. I trust that love is on its way to me now. I attract relationships that support my well-being. I am becoming aligned with the energy of love. I am ready for the love of my life. Don't force all 20. Pick the ones that feel true, or the ones you wish felt true, and start there. Close this chapter by speaking these words. I can change what I believe. I am learning to replace old stories with new truths. I am feeding the wolf that supports the love I want. I am aligning myself with the relationship I desire. I am becoming the person who attracts real, lasting, healthy love. The moment you begin speaking differently about yourself, your life begins moving in a different direction. You're rewriting your story from the inside out. Chapter 5. The Law of Attraction. If you're going to attract the love of your life, it helps to understand the law of attraction in a simple, practical way. People often make it sound complicated, mystical, or out of reach. But the truth is this: the law of attraction is always working, whether you realize it or not. It's not something you try to turn on. It's not something you have to master before it helps you. It's not a trick or technique. It's simply the way the universe responds to you. And at its core, it comes down to 3 things: what you think, what you feel, what you believe. When those 3 things are aligned, your desires begin moving toward you, fast. When they're not aligned, it doesn't matter how badly you want something. It's like having one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. The universe isn't punishing you. It's just responding to mixed signals. A simple way to understand attraction. One of the clearest explanations of the law of attraction came from a short clip in The Secret that used the image of Aladdin and the genie. Think of it like this: Aladdin equals your conscious mind. The genie equals the universe, God, higher power, the field, whatever word feels right to you. Every time Aladdin rubbed the lamp, the genie appeared and said, "Your wish is my command." That's basically how the law of attraction works. Every time you send out a thought, every time you send out an emotion, every time you operate from a belief, the universe responds with, "Your wish is my command." But here's the part most people don't realize. The universe responds to your dominant vibration, not your momentary wish. Your dominant vibration is the combination of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. If you think you want a loving partner, but you feel unworthy and believe they don't exist, your wish is scattered. And the universe can only respond to what matches your true emotional signal, not your surface-level desire. When you're out of alignment. Tom Wilhite, the founder of PSI Seminars, used to demonstrate alignment using 2 steel balls. They were identical, but only one was magnetic. Why? Because in the magnetic one, all its molecules were aligned, and that alignment caused the molecules to display magnetism. The other ball looked the same on the outside, but the inside was chaotic, disorganized and scattered, with the molecules all moving in different directions. Humans are the same way. When what you think, feel, say, and believe are aligned, you become magnetic. People feel it, opportunities feel it, and the universe feels it. When you're not aligned, nothing sticks. People show up, but things fall apart. Opportunities appear, but don't last. Relationships start strong, then fade. It's not bad luck. It's misalignment. A practical example. Let's say you decide you want a new car. You picture it. You feel excited. You tell yourself, I'm going to get this car. In that moment, you're aligned. But moments later, another thought pops in. I can't afford it. That's too much for me. Who am I kidding? The moment you think those thoughts, you've canceled the order. The universe responds to both signals. Yes, I want it. No, I can't have it. Mixed signals equals mixed results. Most people think the law of attraction isn't working, but actually, it is working. Perfectly. They just don't realize they're sending the universe two different instructions. So, what does alignment look like when you're attracting love? It looks like this. You're clear about the kind of relationship you want. You feel good when you think about it. Not scared, doubtful, or tense. You genuinely believe it's possible for you. You talk about love in a way that supports what you want. You act like someone who knows their person is coming. Alignment is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. Just like you don't need 100% belief to attract something, you just need the majority. 51% belief is enough to change everything. How to start aligning with love. Here's a simple way to begin. 1. Get clear on what you want. Vague desires create vague results. Specific desires create specific outcomes. 2. Notice any doubts or fears. Don't push them away, just acknowledge them. You can't align with what you don't acknowledge. 3. Change the feeling tone. If thinking about love brings anxiety, you're out of alignment. Shift into gratitude, calmness, hope, or confidence. 4. Speak words that support your desire. Don't talk yourself out of love. Don't rehearse old stories. Don't give more power to fear than faith. Your words matter. Your energy matters. Your belief matters. And when the three line up, attraction happens fast. Close this chapter with these words. I am aligning my thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with the love I desire. The universe responds to my clarity. What I want is already moving toward me. You don't have to push, chase, or struggle. When you're aligned, love is drawn to you, naturally. Chapter 6. Magnetism and Attraction. If you want to understand how the law of attraction works on a deeper level, it helps to look at something we all learned about as kids. Magnets. Magnets are simple. They don't try to attract anything. They don't work hard to pull things toward them. They don't hope or wish or overthink. They attract because of how they're aligned on the inside. That's the whole secret. And it's the same with people. 2 types of magnets. There are 2 kinds of magnets that help explain attraction. 1. Regular magnets. These are the ones you stick on your refrigerator. They're always magnetic. They don't turn on or off. They're permanently aligned. 2. Electromagnets. These only become magnetic when they're connected to a power source. More electricity equals more magnetism. Less electricity equals weaker pull. Turn it off completely and the magnet stops attracting anything at all. So let me ask you something. Which one do you want to be when it comes to attracting love? Because you actually have both inside you. Your thoughts send out the signal. Your emotions supply the power. Thoughts alone don't attract. Emotion alone doesn't manifest, but together, they create magnetism. Thoughts and feelings, the two forces behind manifestation. Earlier, we talked about how your feelings play a major role in manifestation. That doesn't mean thoughts aren't important. They absolutely are. They just serve a different purpose. Your thoughts focus your intention. Your feelings fuel it. Think of thoughts as the steering wheel and feelings as the engine. Both are essential for getting where you want to go. And here's where the science comes in. Your heart generates an electromagnetic field that is thousands of times stronger than the field produced by your brain. Positive emotions create a clear, aligned signal. Fear, doubt, anxiety, and unworthiness create a signal that attracts more of what you don't want. It's not personal. It's simply how energy works. This is why positive thinking alone doesn't attract anything. The universe doesn't respond to the words in your head. It responds to the emotion behind them. Emotion is the current. Emotion is the electricity. Emotion is what powers your magnet. Your thoughts decide what you want. Your feelings determine how strongly you broadcast it. You don't attract what you wish for. You attract what your emotional energy matches. When your thoughts are clear and your feelings are aligned, you become a powerful magnet for everything you desire. Why love and gratitude are so powerful? If you want to supercharge your magnet, you focus on the two emotions with the highest vibration: love and gratitude. These two emotions work like turning the electromagnet to full strength. Love opens the heart. Gratitude expands it. Together, they make you a magnet for the things you desire, especially love. This is why people who are genuinely grateful seem to attract more to be grateful for. It's why people who walk around with an open heart seem to draw people toward them without trying. When you feel aligned, calm, open, and hopeful about love, you naturally attract people who align with that energy. When you feel doubtful, guarded, afraid, or unworthy, you attract people who match that energy instead. Again, it's not punishment. It's alignment. Your emotions are the amplifier. Here's the simplest way to understand this. Your thought is the request. Your emotion is the amplifier. Your belief is the anchor that keeps your energy steady. If your thoughts say, "I'm ready for the love of my life," but your feelings say, "I'm scared. I don't trust this. Love hasn't worked before," and your beliefs say, "It probably won't happen for me," then your magnet is running on low power, inconsistent current, or no current at all. Everything feels harder. Attraction feels slow. Opportunities show up and disappear. But when you shift the emotional current, everything begins to change. How to strengthen your magnetism? You don't have to feel perfect to attract love. You just need to build more emotional electricity. Here are 3 simple ways to do that. 1. Practice gratitude intentionally. Write down 3 things every day you're grateful for, big or small. Gratitude is rocket fuel for magnetism. 2. Imagine the feeling of love before it arrives. Don't imagine the person, imagine the feeling. Calm, safe, seen, chosen, connected, appreciated. Your emotions don't know the difference between imagination and reality. 3. Catch yourself when fear takes over. You don't have to push fear away. Just notice it, name it, and choose a higher feeling thought. Even a small emotional shift strengthens your magnetic field. A fun fact to remember: you're already magnetic. You've always been magnetic. You're attracting something at all times. The real question is, what are you attracting right now? And what do you want to start attracting instead? The beauty of the law of attraction is that you can change your magnetism anytime you choose. You just have to make the decision to do it. Speak these words out loud. My emotions are powerful, and they support what I'm attracting. Love and gratitude strengthen my magnetism. I am aligned, open, and ready for love to find me. Your magnet is already working. Now you're learning how to power it with intention. Chapter 7. The Reticular Activating System. When people talk about manifesting or attracting love, they often make it sound mystical, as if the universe just drops things in your lap out of nowhere. And yes, the universe plays its part, but there's another piece of the puzzle that's much more down to earth: your brain. Specifically, a small but powerful part of your brain called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS. Now, don't let the scientific name scare you. The RAS is simple to understand, and once you get how it works, you'll see why it's one of the most important tools you have for attracting the love of your life. Your brain's filter system. Your RAS is basically your brain's personal assistant. It filters the world for you. Every second, your brain receives millions of bits of information: sights, sounds, smells, patterns, movements, details. If your brain tried to consciously process everything happening around you, you'd be overwhelmed in about 0.00001 seconds. So your RAS steps in. It filters out everything that doesn't matter and highlights the stuff that does. It pays attention to whatever you've decided, consciously or subconsciously, is important. This is why you can hear your name in a noisy room, or why a parent wakes up instantly when their baby makes a sound, or why the thing you've been thinking about all day suddenly stands out everywhere you look. The RAS is always scanning for what you tell it to look for. A simple example you've lived through. Have you ever bought a new car and suddenly started seeing that exact car everywhere? You didn't magically attract thousands of identical vehicles overnight. They were always there. It's just that now your RAS has new instructions. This car matters to me. Show me every one of them. Once that becomes the RAS's job, it goes to work. This is how the brain and the law of attraction work together, hand in hand. The universe brings opportunities. Your RAS points them out. And you go, wow, this came out of nowhere. But nothing came out of nowhere. You just weren't noticing it before. How the RAS helps you attract love. Now let's apply this to attracting the love of your life. When you get clear, really clear, about the kind of relationship you want and the kind of partner you want, your RAS starts scanning for those qualities everywhere. This is one reason clarity is so important. If you don't know what you want, your RAS doesn't know what to look for. It needs instructions. For example, if you've decided you want someone who is kind, consistent, emotionally mature, fun, open-hearted, and spiritually aligned, your RAS will start noticing the way someone talks, the tone of their voice, how they treat people, their energy, their patterns, their values. Things you might have ignored before suddenly become obvious. And here's the part most people don't realize. Your RAS also helps you avoid repeating past mistakes. If you've begun clearing old limiting beliefs, aligned your emotions with your vision, and outlined the qualities you want, your RAS will also highlight things that don't match what you want. You'll notice red flags sooner. You'll sense when someone isn't healthy. You'll recognize emotional unavailability faster. You'll feel when something is off, even if you can't explain why. This is powerful. It can save you months, sometimes years, of going down the wrong path. Think of it like this. The universe brings opportunities into your orbit. Your RAS illuminates the right ones. Your emotions draw them closer. Your beliefs hold them in place. Your actions welcome them in. That's the partnership. That's the formula. And when all these pieces line up, things start happening very quickly. You meet people by accident. You have conversations that feel oddly familiar. You pick up on signals you'd normally miss. Your intuition gets louder. Your confidence grows. Your clarity sharpens. This isn't coincidence. This isn't luck. This isn't magic. It's alignment. And your RAS is a major part of it. Speak these aloud. My mind is aligning with the love I desire. I notice what supports my future, not what reflects my past. I am ready, clear, aware, and aligned for the love of my life. Love doesn't appear out of nowhere. It appears when your inner world is aligned enough to recognize it. Chapter 8. Clarity. The 101 Qualities Exercise. One of the biggest turning points on my journey took place when I finally got clear. Not, I know what I don't want clear. Not, someone kind and honest clear. I mean deeply, unapologetically clear about the partner I wanted to share my life with. Most people believe they know what they want in a relationship. But if they tried to write it down, they would discover their vision is vague at best. Clarity is what tells your heart, your mind, and your RAS, this is what I'm calling in. This is what I'm available for. This is what I refuse to settle for ever again. And that clarity began for me with the 101 Qualities Exercise. Why I needed the 101 Qualities Exercise. After a long-term relationship came to an end, I realized I no longer knew what I was looking for in a partner. So I asked myself a hard question. Could I clearly and specifically describe the woman I wanted to be with? No. And that realization was sobering. Because if you can't articulate what you want, you can't expect to recognize it when it appears. So I gave myself a challenge. I decided to write a list of 101 qualities the love of my life would have. I didn't know it then, but that decision would change everything. What happens when you stretch that far? When you sit down to write a list of 101 qualities, something powerful happens. The first 15 to 20 qualities are easy. The next 20 make you think. The final 40 to 50 strip away every illusion. By the end, you're not pretending, hoping, or guessing. You're telling the truth you've avoided for years. You realize what you genuinely value, what is non-negotiable for your soul, what you've tolerated far too long, what you're done sacrificing in the name of love. By the time you reach 101, you're looking at a mirror of your heart. Clarity at that level is powerful. The real purpose of the list. Most people think the list is about ordering up the perfect partner. It's not. The real purpose is this. It gives you clarity. And that clarity is exactly what your reticular activating system needs to start filtering your world in the right direction. Your RAS acts like your brain's filter. It decides what you notice and what you ignore. Your list gives your brain a blueprint. These are the qualities that matter. Show me the people who align with this. Suddenly, you stop wasting time on people who were never a match. You stop falling for almost right. You recognize alignment quickly. You trust your own intuition more. Your RAS and the universe start working together. What my list revealed. Writing the list took time and honesty. But creating it allowed me to get clear on what I wanted and needed in a relationship. When my list reached 75 qualities, I started dating someone new. Out of curiosity, I compared her qualities with my list. She matched 70 out of 75. On paper, that looked impressive, but something felt off. So instead of focusing on what she did match, I looked at the 5 qualities she didn't. Those 5 qualities happened to be ones that for me were non-negotiable. She was a good person. We had fun, but the misalignment showed me something important. Almost right is still not right. That realization protected me from making another long-term mistake. And then everything changed. The Elise story. Then something quietly remarkable happened. I had been doing personal growth work through PSI seminars, growing in my clarity. Unknown to me, a woman named Elise was doing the same. Her coach, who played a larger role in our story than either of us realized at the time, challenged her to stretch outside her comfort zone, to say yes, to open to possibility. One of those possibilities was a blind date, and that blind date was with me. We didn't meet online. We weren't matched by an app. We didn't stumble into each other by accident. We were matched through growth, through mindset, through a community committed to personal transformation. After a couple of dates, warm, easy, sincere, I checked my list. Not as a scorecard or a judgment, just a quiet curiosity. And as I looked it over, something extraordinary unfolded. 10 out of 10, 25 out of 25, 50 out of 50, 75 out of 75. Then I kept going. Elise matched 97 out of 101 qualities on my list. Not perfection, not fantasy, alignment. The 4 qualities she didn't match were not deal breakers. They were simply differences, the kind that add balance, not friction. But the 97 she did match were the qualities that mattered most to me. Emotional openness, kindness, depth, integrity, generosity, playfulness, growth mindset, communication, spiritual alignment, a heart that felt like home. And here's what struck me most. Elise wasn't trying to fit a list. She had no idea the list even existed. She simply was the kind of woman I had finally gained enough clarity to recognize. Elise wasn't a checklist. She wasn't a fantasy. She wasn't a wish list come true. She was the partner I had become ready for. Clarity didn't magically bring her into my life. Clarity allowed me to recognize her when she arrived. What the 101 qualities list really does. Your list becomes your inner compass. 1. It trains your RAS. Your mind filters for alignment and signals red flags sooner. 2. It strengthens your standards. You stop settling for almost. 3. It protects your heart. You don't invest in misaligned relationships. 4. It prepares you for real love. The kind of love built on truth, safety, and compatibility. Speak this aloud. I am becoming crystal clear about the love I desire. My clarity guides my choices and protects my heart. The universe responds to my clarity with alignment. I am creating space for the relationship that truly fits who I am. Clarity doesn't push love away. Clarity leads you straight to it, just as it led me to Elise. Chapter 9. Learn to discern. Once you gain clarity about the qualities you want in the love of your life, the next step is learning how to discern. How to tell the difference between someone who truly aligns with you and someone who looks good on paper but isn't a genuine match. Discernment is one of the most important skills you can develop on this journey. Because here's the truth. You don't attract what you want. You attract what your emotional energy matches. And until you learn to discern, you may find yourself repeating patterns you thought you'd outgrown. Falling for potential. Ignoring red flags. Overlooking deal breakers. Rationalizing behavior. Forcing connections. Choosing comfort over compatibility. Discernment protects you from that. Discernment keeps you aligned with clarity. Discernment keeps your magnet strong. Discernment keeps your future brighter than your past. How I discovered my most important non-negotiable. In the last chapter, I shared the story of dating a woman who matched 70 of the first 75 qualities on my list. And yes, that's an impressive number. But something still didn't sit right with me. So I looked again at the 5 qualities she didn't match. And after a few days of honest reflection, one quality rose above the rest. One that surprised me by how deeply it mattered. My number one non-negotiable was this: the love of my life must accept me for who I am, both personally and professionally. I didn't realize that at the time. It wasn't something I had seen on anyone's relationship checklist, but it was a quiet truth living inside me, and it came into sharp focus during that relationship. Right from the start, she struggled with jealousy, especially around the fact that the personal growth work I was doing involved both men and women. I wasn't doing anything wrong, but it didn't matter. My commitment to growth, my work, and the environment I was part of made her uncomfortable. That was the moment I realized, this is not the kind of person I want in my life. She was kind, smart, fun, but she couldn't accept who I was at my core. Not in the way I needed, not in a way that would allow the relationship to grow. If I had ignored that realization, I would have ended up in a relationship where I'd have to shrink, explain, or adjust essential parts of myself just to keep the peace. That's not love. That's not partnership. That's self-abandonment. Discernment helped me avoid that, and it opened the door to someone who matched not just the list, but me. And that someone was Elise. Why discernment matters more than attraction. Attraction is easy. Chemistry is easy. Connection is easy. You can feel attracted to all kinds of people who aren't right for you. But discernment? Discernment is what keeps you aligned. Discernment is what prevents you from mistaking intensity for compatibility. Discernment is what keeps short-term excitement from turning into long-term disappointment. Discernment is what helps you recognize when something looks good, but doesn't feel right. Attraction pulls you towards someone. Discernment tells you whether you should stay. The difference between preferences and non-negotiables. One mistake people make is treating everything on their list like a deal breaker. It isn't. Some qualities are preferences. Nice to have, but not essential. Some qualities are non-negotiables, foundational to your emotional safety and long-term happiness. Here's the difference. A preference enhances your experience. A non-negotiable protects your well-being. For example, certain hair color, enjoys the same music, favorite foods. Nice? Sure. Necessary? No. Non-negotiables. Honesty, integrity, shared values, communication, respect. These aren't nice to haves. These are the qualities that determine whether a relationship lasts and whether it feels like home or like work. Why you should focus only on what you want. When creating your list or evaluating a potential partner, it's important to focus only on the qualities you want, not the ones you don't. Your subconscious mind doesn't process negatives. If you write, "The love of my life isn't a liar," your subconscious latches onto the word liar. If you write, "The love of my life isn't a cheater," it focuses on cheater. That's how the mind works. So instead, flip every don't want into a positive quality. Not a liar becomes honest. Not lazy becomes hardworking. Not selfish becomes considerate. Not cold or distant becomes emotionally available. You're training your brain what to look for. Give it the right instructions. The truth about the journey. As you grow in discernment, there's something important to remember. You won't get it right every time. In fact, it's almost guaranteed that along the way you'll make choices that don't fully align. Not because you're failing, but because you're learning to see more clearly. Discernment is a skill, and like any skill, it sharpens with use. I didn't nail it on my first relationship after doing the inner work. And you probably won't either. That doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It simply means you're in the process of discovering what truly matters and what doesn't. Those almost but not quite relationships aren't mistakes. They're teachers. They help you refine your truth, recognize your patterns, and understand what real alignment feels like. Once you accept that part of the path includes choosing things you'll later outgrow, the whole journey becomes kinder, more honest, more grounded. And that brings us to something I call the truth beneath the preference. On my list, one of the qualities I wrote down was cat-free home. Now, for me, this was close to becoming a non-negotiable. Not because I disliked cats, but because I disliked what I associated with cats. The smell. Fast forward to meeting Elise, the love of my life, who just happened to have, well, more than a few cats. Discernment came in here. Was this truly a deal breaker? Or was this a preference based on an assumption? When I walked into Elise's apartment for the first time and realized it didn't smell the way I feared, something clicked. This wasn't a non-negotiable. This wasn't even an issue. This was an outdated assumption I had never questioned. I suddenly realized it was possible to have cats without the cat smell. Discernment allowed me to see the truth instead of holding on to the rule. And thank God I did. Otherwise, I would have missed the most important relationship of my life. Speak these aloud. I see clearly what aligns with my heart. I recognize healthy love when I see it. I choose alignment over attachment. Discernment isn't about judging others. It's about honoring yourself. And the more you honor yourself, the closer you get to attracting a love that honors you too. There was no dramatic speech, no inner ultimatum, just a quiet, powerful knowing, I'm ready. Not ready in the sense of having everything figured out, not ready as in having healed every wound, but ready in the sense that my heart was open in a real, honest way. Looking back, that moment became a turning point, not because everything shifted instantly on the outside, but because something shifted inside me first. Subtly, but unmistakably. That was the moment the door unlocked. Chapter 10. Making Space for the Love of Your Life. You've gained clarity. You've written your 101 qualities list. You're learning to discern alignment from almost. Now comes a chapter most people skip, one that quietly determines whether the love you want has room to arrive. You must make space for it. People talk about wanting a partner, wanting marriage, wanting connection, but their lives are already full, emotionally, mentally, physically, energetically. Love is not fragile. Love is not random, but love does need room. And the love of your life cannot enter a heart that's still holding someone else, even if only a little, in the corners. This chapter is about clearing that space, not through force, not through dramatic decisions, but through conscious, honest letting go of the past. Why space matters more than most people realize. Think of your heart and your life like a home. If every room is still filled with old relationships, old hurt, old stories, old patterns, there is nowhere for new love to land. Space making is not about being healed. It's about being available. Love needs openness. Love needs readiness. Love needs emotional room to breathe. The relationship that finally ended and why it mattered. About a year before I met Elise, I made a decision I wouldn't understand until much later. I re-entered an old relationship. It didn't fit. It hadn't fit before. And deep down, I knew it couldn't work. Not in the long run. Not in any healthy way. But I went back anyway. And just like before, it ended suddenly, painfully, abruptly, with a familiar sting. But this time, everything was different. Because this time, I felt something I had never felt with this person. Completion. There was no longing, no second guessing, no wondering whether we should try again, no bargaining with myself, no part of me wanting to reopen the door. The pain was real, but so was the clarity. For the first time, I knew it was truly over. Not over for now. Not over until we talk again. Not over until we try one more time. Just over. Finished. Complete. Only later did I understand the importance of that moment. That ending created space. Real, meaningful, necessary space for Elise to come into my life. Had I still been emotionally looped into that relationship, had I still been wondering, had I still been partially tied to the past, I would not have been ready for her. I might not have recognized her. I might not have been open. I might have been distracted. I might have been unavailable in ways I didn't even see. That painful ending was actually preparation. It wasn't rejection. It wasn't failure. It was closure disguised as heartbreak. It was space disguised as loss. It was the universe clearing the deck so the right person could finally arrive. And she did. Elise didn't need me perfect. She needed me available. That final ending made me available. The 3 forms of space you must create. The experience with my past relationship revealed something powerful. There are 3 kinds of space you must create before the love of your life can enter. 1. Emotional space. You need room in your heart that isn't cluttered by past partners, old heartbreak, lingering attachments, half-open doors, unfinished conversations, unresolved what-ifs. Emotional space is what I gained the day that old relationship finally ended for good. It wasn't a ceremony. It wasn't a vow. It wasn't even conscious. It was relief. It was clarity. It was truth. And truth creates space faster than anything else. 2. Mental space. This is the clearing away of self-doubt, old stories, fear-based thinking, the voice that whispers, "Love didn't work before." Once I felt complete, my mind quieted. There was room for new thoughts, new possibilities, new beliefs, a new future. Mental space says, I'm not rehearsing my past anymore. I'm imagining something better. 3. Physical space. This is the outer world reflecting your inner readiness. Your home, your habits, your schedule, your routines. Your physical environment tells the universe something important. There is room here for partnership. Frameworks, habits, and routines shift as you shift. Space outside mirrors space inside. The fear behind letting go. People often avoid creating space because of a quiet fear. What if I let go and nothing better comes? I get that fear. I lived it. But here's the truth. Letting go doesn't create emptiness. It creates alignment. Letting go doesn't leave you alone. It leaves you available. Letting go doesn't invite loss. It invites destiny. That final breakup didn't leave me empty. It left me ready. A simple space-making ritual. Try this. Sit quietly with your hand on your heart. Say, "Show me what I am still holding on to that no longer serves me." Let whatever rises come up. A memory, a name, a fear, a habit. Whisper, "Thank you. I release you." Take one symbolic action. Delete a text thread. Donate something. Breathe deeply. Small releases open big space. Speak these aloud. I release what no longer serves my future. My heart has room for the love of my life. I am ready, truly ready, for the right person to enter. Chapter 11. See it before you live it. The power of visualization in attracting love. By now, you've done tremendous inner work. You've gotten clearer. You've elevated your energy. You've refined your discernment. Now it's time to activate one of the most powerful tools in the law of attraction: visualization. Visualization is where your heart, your mind, your emotions, and your energy finally come together in one clear direction. It is not fantasy. It is not daydreaming. It is not pretending. Visualization is mental rehearsal. It's rehearsing the love you desire so your subconscious and the universe can begin guiding you toward it. And it is far more powerful than most people realize. Why visualization works. The real science behind it. Most people don't know this, but the brain does not know the difference between something vividly imagined and something physically experienced. When you visualize, your brain fires the same neurons. Your emotions respond the same way. Your nervous system begins preparing. Your body aligns with the expectation. Your subconscious says, "This is where we're headed." Your energy shifts into receiving mode. Athletes use visualization. Performers use visualization. Leaders use visualization. And yes, love responds to visualization too. Because love, like everything else, is energy. And energy responds to imagination. Visualization is the bridge between you and the love of your life. Think of visualization like meeting your future relationship halfway. You're saying, "I see it. I feel it. I trust it. I'm getting ready for it." And the universe responds, "Perfect. Now I'll guide you toward it." Visualization gives your RAS and subconscious mind a target to organize around. It tells your emotional body what to feel. It tells the universe what to respond to. And it creates a sense of grounded confidence that becomes magnetic. People who visualize don't hope, they prepare. They expect. And that internal state of expectation is one of the most powerful signals you can send. What visualization is not. People often misunderstand visualization. So let's be clear about what it is not. It is not imagining a specific person. It's imagining the feeling of love, not someone's face. It is not trying to control how love arrives. It's about becoming aligned, not micromanaging the universe. It is not escapism. It's preparation. It is not fantasy. It's energetic rehearsal. Visualization is not about creating a partner. It's about becoming an energetic match to the partner who is already coming. Visualizing the feeling, not the face. The most important part of any love visualization is this. You visualize how love feels, what the relationship feels like, what being with your partner feels like, not what they look like, not what car they drive, not what job they have, not their haircut or height or age. You visualize the experience of love. Here are the feelings that matter most. Safe, seen, chosen, appreciated, valued, understood, connected, supported, alive, calm, open, aligned, at home. Those are the feelings that attract the right person. Because the right person is the one who naturally brings them out in you. The future memory technique. I call this future memory because that's exactly what it becomes. A memory from your future that your subconscious believes is real. Here's how to do it. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Bring your breathing into a calm rhythm. Imagine yourself 6 months or a year into the future. In a real, healthy, aligned relationship. Don't see the person. Feel the presence of the relationship. Imagine a specific moment. The two of you laughing in the kitchen, sharing coffee in the morning, holding hands on a walk, talking on the couch, planning a weekend, sitting close, feeling at ease. Feel the emotions that rise in you. Let those emotions expand. Say quietly, "This is the love I am aligning with." Do this for 2 minutes a day, not 10, not 20. 2 minutes. It's enough. Emotion is the magnet. Repetition is the anchor. Visualization is the bridge. Visualization strengthens your belief, and belief attracts love. Visualization doesn't magically erase limiting beliefs, but with consistent practice, it becomes easier to shift into the emotional state that supports the love you desire. Over time, visualization helps you reconnect with the version of yourself who knows love is possible and on its way. The more you engage with it, the more natural it becomes to feel aligned, open, and receptive. And the more you focus on what you truly want, the less power your old stories have over your future. Because you're not trying to wish for love. You're experiencing love emotionally before it arrives physically. Love comes faster when you stop doubting that it will. Visualization turns down the volume on doubt. It anchors belief, and belief is magnetic. Chapter 12. Denise's story. When emotional clarity turns into real love. One of my favorite success stories of someone who used the principles in Aligned with Love, How to Attract the Love of Your Life Using the Law of Attraction, comes from our dear friend, Denise. If you met her today, you'd see a woman who radiates joy, confidence, warmth, and gratitude. But like many of us, Denise went through a long season of wanting love, trying for love, and never quite finding the relationship that truly fit her heart. She spent years in a relationship that was not aligned. A relationship that ultimately left her wanting more depth, more consistency, more partnership, more love that felt real, steady, and mutual. What she didn't yet realize was that her limiting beliefs were shaping her love life. Beliefs that told her what she should expect instead of what she truly desired. That all began to change the day she decided to dive into her personal growth. Where our paths crossed. Elise and I met Denise during a series of personal growth seminars we were all attending. These weren't casual workshops. They were transformational environments designed to dissolve limiting beliefs, clarify your life, and help you align with your highest potential. And Denise showed up. She did the inner work. She took the deep dives. She questioned old stories. She confronted emotional patterns. She dismantled beliefs that once held her back. Even then, it was clear how important it was for her to find a relationship that was meaningful. Not just nice, not just comfortable, but truly aligned with who she was becoming. I encouraged her to create a list of 101 qualities, just as I had done. But Denise chose something different. She chose something more powerful. She sat down and wrote a love letter. Not to a specific man, not to someone from her past. She wrote a passionate, emotionally vivid letter to her future relationship. And she wrote it as if it were already real. The letter that changed everything. With Denise's permission, here is what she wrote. And I invite you to read it slowly, because the emotional clarity she expressed is exactly what activates the law of attraction at a profound level. I am ready for my authentic, genuine, solid, comfortable in his own skin, passionate, loving, supportive, fun, kind, beautiful soul, hot, talented, incredible man to love me, admire me, soak me up, and treasure every minute of our time together. He is unwavering in his love, commitment, passion, and interest in me and in our lives together. And so it is on day one. But she didn't stop at describing him. She went deeper, describing how she wanted to feel in the relationship. I feel loved, adored, admired, respected, and accepted completely. I feel safe and inspired to be a better version of myself by being with him. My best qualities are amplified, and I am lighter, brighter, and filled with joy, laughter, fun, and satisfaction. The love I feel for this man is like nothing I've ever experienced before. I feel energized, like a warm blanket is wrapped around me whenever he touches me. I feel attractive, desired, and cherished. He craves me, and our time together is full of fun and connection. Time flies when we're together. I am secure in his love based on his consistent behavior. He pays attention to my needs and desires. He sees me for who I am and for the even better version of myself that he helps me see. We are like-minded, and life is easy together. We play, cuddle, make out, talk, travel, cook, read, dance, sleep, and enjoy each other more than I ever thought possible. We are amazing together. When she finished the letter, she didn't analyze it. She didn't judge it. She didn't question whether it was too much or too specific. She simply allowed it to exist. Pure clarity, pure emotion, pure alignment. And that made all the difference. When the universe responded. Not long after writing her letter, Denise found herself traveling for work, and it was in the most ordinary place, the Las Vegas airport, that something extraordinary began. While waiting for her flight, she struck up a conversation with a handsome man named Steven. It was easy. It was effortless. It was natural. No intensity, no confusion, no mixed signals, just two people enjoying each other's company. When the boarding announcement was made, they said goodbye. Denise took her seat on the plane. A few minutes later, Steven boarded, and noticing the open seat beside her, he walked over and asked, "Is this seat taken?" It wasn't, so he sat next to her, and the conversation that began in the airport continued all the way home. Warm, playful, sincere, and steady. That flight set everything in motion. They exchanged numbers. They went on dates. They built connection. They discovered compatibility, and something kept unfolding that felt unmistakably aligned. The moment their stories converged. If you knew Steven today, as Elise and I do, you'd swear that Denise must have written her letter after meeting him, not before. Because he embodies everything she described. The passion, the steadiness, the fun, the commitment, the generosity, the emotional safety, the devotion, the partnership, the kindness, the chemistry. It is as if her letter introduced her to him before the universe did. In 2020, Denise and Steven were married, just a few months before Elise and I tied the knot ourselves. And their love story continues to be one of the clearest examples I've ever seen of how alignment works when desire, clarity, emotion, and belief come together. Why Denise's story matters. Denise didn't manifest Steven by luck. She manifested him by alignment. She got emotionally honest. She dissolved limiting beliefs through PSI. She raised her standards. She clarified her desires. She trusted her intuition. She visualized connection, not a person. She named her feelings and owned them. She wrote her truth without fear. She allowed the universe to orchestrate the how. Her letter wasn't a request. It was an alignment. And that alignment paved the way for the love she was destined to receive. Say these words aloud. I am ready for a relationship that aligns with my heart. My clarity creates my reality. I am becoming aligned with the love I desire. The kind of love I want is already moving toward me, and I am opening the door for it now. Angela's story. The power of clarity and accountability. One of the most impactful things you can do while creating your list of qualities is to work with an accountability partner. Someone who believes in your growth, holds space for your honesty, and walks the journey with you. Ideally, it's someone who is creating their own list at the same time, because there is a unique power in shared discovery. When two people are doing this work together, the insights expand, the honesty deepens, and breakthroughs happen that wouldn't have emerged alone. When I created my list, I did it alongside my friend Angela. Our conversations became a source of grounding and insight. We talked regularly, comparing notes, sharing breakthroughs, and exploring the deeper meaning behind the qualities that mattered to us. Sometimes we'd pick a random number from our lists and unpack why that specific quality carried weight. Why that one? Why is it rising now? What does it reveal about who we're becoming? Those discussions didn't just help us write better lists. They helped us see ourselves more clearly. We uncovered patterns we hadn't quite named. We clarified values we had long held but never articulated. And we unearthed desires that lived just beneath the surface, waiting to be acknowledged. Working together didn't just create clarity, it created transformation. As the weeks went on, I watched Angela evolve in real time. She wasn't simply defining the kind of partner she wanted. She was becoming the woman who could recognize and receive that kind of love. Her list became less about what I want in someone else, and more about who I am when I am deeply aligned. That's the real power of this process. The list isn't about perfection or summoning someone on command. It's about alignment. It's about resonance. It's about understanding yourself so deeply that the relationship you attract mirrors your truth instead of your old wounds. And then came one of those moments that makes you wonder if the universe enjoys showing off. When Angela went on her very first date with Dee, I happened to be at the exact same ice cream parlor. I had never been there before, had no idea they were going, and walked in just minutes after they arrived. None of us could quite explain it. It felt like the universe giving a little wink, as if to say, "Pay attention, something special is happening." A moment like that doesn't happen by chance. Not in this kind of work. Not when two people have been aligning themselves so deliberately. And something was happening. That first date turned into something real, something grounded, something that reflected everything Angela had written about, prayed about, journaled about, and aligned with. And not long after, Angela and Dee announced they were getting married. Then came the part that still touches my heart every time I think about it. They asked me to officiate their wedding. I had recently become a wedding officiant, and standing there with them, watching Angela marry the love of her life after she and I had walked side by side through the very process that helped her manifest that relationship, was one of the most meaningful, full-circle moments I've ever experienced. It wasn't just a ceremony. It was a testament. Proof of what clarity, intention, and accountability can create. Angela didn't settle. She didn't rush. She didn't force anything. She got clear. She stayed aligned, and love met her at that level. That's how this works. Love rises to meet the clarity you hold. Her journey, just like Denise's, reinforces a simple truth this entire book is built upon. When you know who you are and what you want, the universe responds. Clarity is magnetic. Alignment is irresistible. And a heart that knows its truth becomes a beacon. Angela's story isn't just inspiring, it's evidence. This process works. And when you do it with intention, honesty, and support, it can change everything. Chapter 14. Becoming ready for the love of your life. By now, you've done the inner work, the clarity, the reflection, the belief shifting, the list of 101 qualities, and the deeper understanding of what aligned love actually requires. And somewhere along this journey, something important begins to happen. You start becoming the version of yourself who can receive the relationship you've been calling in. Not through force, not through perfection, not through trying to be enough, but through alignment. Real love doesn't arrive for the version of you who doubts, settles, or hides. It arrives for the version of you who knows their worth, honors their clarity, and trusts their own heart. This final chapter is about stepping into that version of yourself, the one who is ready. You become less interested in what never worked. One of the first signs of readiness is simple. You lose interest in the people and patterns that once tempted you. The inconsistent, the unavailable, the almost relationships. The ones you used to justify, chase, or hope would change. Suddenly, they no longer feel aligned. This shift isn't loss, it's growth. It means you're finally choosing yourself. You walk away faster. Where you once gave endless chances, you now trust your intuition. You don't argue with red flags. You don't negotiate your standards. You don't shrink just to make something work. You simply say, "That's not for me." This is alignment choosing you as much as you're choosing it. You feel calmer, not more anxious. Readiness doesn't feel like fireworks. It feels like quiet confidence. A sense of, I know love is coming. I know I'm getting closer. I'm not in a rush. The frantic searching fades. The urgency dissolves. You're not chasing love. You're becoming ready to receive it. Your life expands. You take better care of yourself. Your friendships deepen. Your passions return. You upgrade your habits, your home, your boundaries, your energy. You build a life that feels good to live, even before the relationship arrives. This is not distraction. This is preparation. Aligned love needs somewhere healthy to land. You stop settling in every way. Another unmistakable sign. Your standards become non-negotiable. You no longer tolerate inconsistency, emotional unavailability, or relationships where you carry all the weight. Not from ego, from self-respect. Once you've tasted clarity, it becomes impossible to pretend you don't know better. And the moment you stop settling, your whole life opens. You release the past without bitterness. You stop looking back. You stop replaying what happened. You stop wondering, what if? The past simply lets go of you. Not because it didn't matter, but because it no longer fits the person you're becoming. This is emotional space, and space is what love needs in order to appear. You can imagine healthy love, and it feels possible. Not fantasy, not fear, not longing, just possibility. You imagine partnership from a grounded, steady place, and something inside you says, yes, this is for me. That inner yes is the doorway. You feel ready in a completely new way. Not perfect, not flawless, not healed from every wound, just ready. Ready to be seen, ready to be loved, ready to show up fully, ready to receive without shrinking, ready to give without losing yourself. This readiness feels like peace, a deep breath you didn't know you'd been holding. The moment everything changes. There comes a moment in every journey when something inside you settles into truth. I'm ready for the love of my life. It happened for Denise. It happened for Angela. It happened for me. And it can happen for you. Because readiness isn't a moment of excitement. It's a moment of alignment. Your clarity is set. Your standards are anchored. Your heart is open. Your RAS is searching. Your life is expanding. Your energy is magnetic. And now, your person can finally find you. Not the old version of you who doubted, settled, or carried old stories, but the version of you who knows your worth, your vision, and your truth. Love doesn't arrive because you hope for it. Love arrives because you're ready for it. A final intention. Find a still moment. Place a hand over your heart. And let these words rise from within you. I am ready for the love of my life. I stand in the truth of who I am becoming. I bless the past and release its weight. I welcome the love that aligns with my frequency, my clarity, and my divine worth. I open my heart fully, with trust, with ease, with grace. Feel the energy gather around you. Feel the signal of your heart strengthening, expanding, radiating outward. Your story is already in motion. Your timelines are already weaving together. Your souls are being drawn closer by the very vibration you're holding right now. And the love you've been preparing for, the love that matches your evolution, your healing, your becoming, is already making its way toward you. Guided by resonance, carried by intention, arriving in perfect timing. Closing the circle. You've traveled through a journey that most people never take. You've looked within. You've questioned old stories. You've released what no longer serves you. You've clarified what your heart actually longs for and what your soul will no longer tolerate. This book was never just about finding love. It was about becoming the version of you who can receive extraordinary love. The version of you who no longer settles, who no longer hides, who no longer forgets their worth. It was about remembering something essential. You are not waiting for love. You are aligning with it. And alignment is not passive. It's a daily practice, a returning again and again to the truth of who you are and what you deserve. So as you step forward from here, carry this with you. Every thought you choose, every emotion you allow, every intention you set, every boundary you honor, every moment you choose clarity over confusion, you are calling in the love of your life. You are sending a signal, clear, coherent, magnetic, into a universe that always responds. And one day soon, you will look back and realize that nothing was random. Every lesson shaped you. Every heartbreak refined you. Every moment of healing opened you. All of it prepared you for the relationship that matches your growth, your truth, and your becoming. The story of how the two of you find each other is already unfolding, and by the time your paths finally cross, you will say, "Of course, this was always meant for me." Hold that knowing. Walk with that certainty. Live from that alignment. Because the love of your life isn't a question mark. It's a destination your heart is already moving toward. And now, so are you. Heart activation. Before you close this book, pause for one more quiet moment. Take a slow breath in and a soft breath out. Let yourself feel the shift inside you, not as hope, but as truth. You have done the inner work. You have aligned your heart, your clarity, and your energy. You have become someone who no longer chases love, but someone who attracts it. In this moment, let your heart speak the last word. I am ready, and I trust what is already on its way to me. Something in the universe responds when you say that. Something moves. Something opens. Carry that resonance with you into your next sunrise. Let it guide you quietly, confidently, and with grace. Your love story is already gathering around you. Now, you simply walk toward it.